Hello and welcome back to Spirit of Nature Art and a little flip through of this super cute little vintage nature journal. Such a lovely little project to make. It's the kind of thing you can make just in a weekend, which I think sometimes I make pretty big projects, don't I, guys? So it's really nice sometimes to have small little projects like this to be able to make. So let me take you on a little tour of what we've got here. This has just been made with an offcut of leather. I get these little packs of leather offcuts from eBay, like 4 or 5 different pieces for, I don't know, under £10. And they come in all sorts of different colours, and whatever colours come then inspire me to make the project. This little button here, super cute. This came, I picked this up with as a little set in on a trip to Hay-on-Wye recently. It's a lovely little kind of like, it's made from like clay, I think, and then it's been painted and hand fired, which is lovely with this gorgeous little, I think the great tit on there. So I picked those up knowing I wanted to use them in a vintage nature project. So let's open up and have a little look. First of all, we've got this tie here, which is a bit of hand-dyed sari ribbon. So I dyed this using Vintage Photo Distress Oxide. We also have a feather here which has been kindly donated by one of my pet ducks. This is from Albert. That gorgeous green sheen on it, isn't that gorgeous? So we'll pop that down there and then we'll take a little look inside. So I have backed the piece of leather with a bit of fabric here, so just using like Mod Podge, and added these lovely little brass corners on just to add that extra detail. And then the vintage nature look is basically, here we've got lots of different, most of the digitals in here I think are Tracy Fox ones, and then lots of fussy cutting, my usual kind of fussy cutting from my nature books, and I have done a lot of extra hand dyeing on these printables. So I cut out a whole load of these Tracy Fox printables from the labels here. I've used a label there as the hinge. And this label here is a little pocket, and this one I've used as an actual journal card. But you'll see that there has been a lot of extra ink added to this. So I have got Vintage Photo, I have got Bundled Sage, and also just a little teeny tiny bit of Salvage Patina, and that goes all the way through the whole project. So the other thing that I have here are some old book pages. So I've used these to create the background. Again, I've used the same techniques with the distress inks and oxides to get this lovely kind of aged vintage look. So if you want to create along with me on a project like this, the vintage nature one, head over to my website, because I have a course up there called Get the Look, and there's a vintage nature one, and that takes you through how to create this style of project. So in terms of the decoration, so it's how to get this kind of vintage nature look. So we've got here a Tim Holtz specimen slide from the Sizzix die cuts, and I have put here a bit of pre-printed vellum in that window, so you get that really nice kind of peekaboo effect when you pull that out. Lots of stamping. Most of the stamping on this project I think is Tim Holtz stamps, and all of these little teeny tiny printable labels here are Tracy Fox number strips, which I have cut down and again dyed with just distress inks. You'll also notice we've got some boo-boo tape from the Seven Plaza boo-boo tape that is used throughout the project as well, just adding that kind of detail that follows through on every single page. And then what would normally be perhaps a label, I'm using these as flip-ups, so that we've got a journal space here. You can see I've used the labels as hinges and as pockets, and then little journal cards. And I love what the inks do to these digitals. That would normally look, I think, just kind of like a pale grey. Adding that, particularly the Bundled Sage and the Salvage Patina, really brings that to life. Extra bits of that sari ribbon that I dyed, just attached there with the tiny attacher, and I've just stamped, I've used Versafine Claire like archival ink to stamp onto that, create that extra little touch. Pop that in there. What else have we got? Here, oh, this is another Tim Holtz stamp here. Just creating another way to create a little flap, just a bit of offcut. Again, use the same inks just to colour that. Little journal spots. Just used my circle hole punch here just to create a hole in the page, and then put some more of that printed vellum in there. A bit of tea dye paper just to create these little journal spots here. I love small little journal spots because they're not intimidating. Something like this could be a really nice place just to journal like little memories or moments, you know, of a particular time, or something, a particular memory that you wanted to capture. Or even just to write in here the things that you've seen in your garden over that particular season. It's nice to have small spaces that aren't intimidating. Although many people tell me who buy my journals like this that they literally just come home from work, open the journal and just go through and do what I'm doing here. They do their own little flip through and rediscover all the little treasures over and over again. And it's just such a joyful, calming experience for them just to look and handle the journal. I think that's, for me, what's super important is it's interactive. We don't even need to write in it for it to become something that that we can then kind of use and interact with. So another little specimen slide here. All these little fussy cut birds. I think these ones came from an old Reader's Digest book, I think. Another one here. And again, just looking at the impact that those inks have. Oops. On those digitals. And these little illustrations on the old book pages peeking through from the back. Little tree creeper here. Again, thinking about the different angles that you can put things at. You don't just have to use them as a label. You don't just have to use them the way that they come. You can use them in lots and lots of different ways. I love little projects like this because they don't take long to pull together. More little labels here. And you'll notice the repetition. So, you know, we're repeating the same things in slightly different ways, and it just brings the project together. I love this. And I love this little bird here. Absolutely gorgeous. Another little secret hidden flap there. And just, you know, just a simple label, nameplate like that can create a really nice place just to put a few words, a little memory, maybe a quote. That's how I like to journal. And there's still space to be able to add extra little things in here. There's definitely room for more. I love that salvage patina on these projects. I love how it just kind of peeks out from all the other colours. Another one of those printed vellum pages, a bit more tea dye, all of those beautiful colours, creating that lovely vintage nature look. And just a little touch of gold, a little bit of luster wax just around the edges there. This little charm. I think that came from a jewellery shop, I think. So there we go. Oh, let me tell you what size it is. So this is around about 80 centimetres tall, roughly 65 centimetres wide, and it's pretty chunky. So even when it's squeezed, it's about 3.5 centimetres, but looser, it's about 4 centimetres. And there's still space for more things to go in there. That's why I quite like doing closures like this, because there's plenty of room for more to go in there. Let's just put Albert's little feather back there. Tuck that behind. And there we have it. super cute little journal. As I said, I'll pop the link to, I made one, I did a process video making one of these, a spooky one I think, maybe last year. So I'll pop the link to that below, and I'll pop the link to the Get the Look Vintage Nature course where you can create along with me to create this kind of style. It goes through all of the making hand-dyed papers, using old book pages, loads of different ways, and you get some nice printables in there as well to be able to create your own bits of ephemera to put in there too. So there we have it. I love these little projects. I've got a couple more pieces of this of leather offcuts, so you may well see a few more of these in the future as well. But for now, there we have it.